everybody is born with a little something extra, and sometimes they just have to find it. A little something extra is that superpower that every single one of us has inside that motivates us and drives our passion and makes us do the things that we do.
We're all on the same team. Let's think about how we can make that team as inclusive as we can.
For those of you listening to our podcast right now, you can also check out our video podcast at alittlesomethingextrapodcast.org.
Welcome, everybody. We are back again for another episode of A Little Something Extra. I am Nancy Gianni. I am here with my daughter,
The GiGi of GiGi's Playhouse.
the GiGi of GiGi's Playhouse. And who else do we have with us?
Franco too.
Yes,
And
producer
Franco,
turned
too.
host.
Woo! We love having a little Franco Johnny in the house. And it always helps to have Franco in the house when we're doing a lot of sports-related things because he gives us some credibility because me and Gigi might blow that up a little bit. We might be talking about baseball when we're supposed to be talking about football. Like, you give us that credibility that we need.
I do what I can.
Yeah. Well, I am really excited about our guest today because we've got like triple power in a family. You know, so a lot of times we have that one guest and we hear certain things, and this time we've got a family that really steps up and has been making a difference for years, have been out there fighting with their muscles through the NFL and through football. And I'm just excited to now be bringing it to the Little Something Extra stage and the GiGi stage and get our viewers to hear about these guys. I won't say their name because Gigi will get mad at me. She has to do the intros these days. So, Gigi, let us know. What do we got here?
Today's episode is bigger than football. It's about legacy, love, and what it really means to show up for your people on the field, off the field.
Woo!
And especially at home. Today we have a family that has been shaped by faith, challenges, a deep, unbreakable bond. Today we are honored to welcome the Mark family. They are a family too of difference makers.
Woo! Difference makers. Yeah, they are.
From the NFL player and Duke.
Didn't I just say to practice the word alumni? No.
You got it. Alumni.
alumni to devoted advocates and speech pathologists. This family is all join us and welcome Charlene, Stanley, Jacob, and Malik's family.
And Myles Monk. Woo! Well, Myles actually is not with us because he's over at the, where is he, at the Charleston, or no, the Raleigh Playhouse.
Yep.
Raleigh Gary Playhouse. Yeah.
Yes, very cool. All right, well, I'm so excited to have you guys. Jacob, welcome. You're in Charleston today? You're on vacation?
Yeah, I'm in Charleston right now. I got here yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Fiance.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
We just opened a GiGi's in Charleston about a month
We were just
ago.
there, 3 weeks ago. Beautiful.
Love some Charleston. Is it warm over there today?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Nice. And then we got Charlene and Stanley, your parents, that are with us today. And I feel like I know Stanley because of your video, that Duke video that you got out there, brother. I love it. I love your commitment to family. I love every piece of it. I watched that, and I just am excited to learn more about you guys. So let's start with, Charlene, let's start with you. Tell us about your boys.
I didn't know if you caught that one thing that Jacob said. He said he's in Charleston with his fiance.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I did not know that.
Wait. When did it happen?
Yesterday.
Get out! In Charleston?
Yep, at Folly Beach.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, Jacob, congratulations. man.
Wait a
It's
minute.
Exciting.
So we were one of the first people you've actually said fiance to.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so exciting.
How did it feel to say? Was it kind of weird not saying girlfriend this time?
A little weird, but it feels right.
Oh, I feel you, man. Yeah, I'm still working on trying to pick up on that too. I keep saying girlfriend. I've been engaged for 3 months now.
Yeah.
So congratulations. That's awesome.
Oh my
In
gosh.
Charleston too. It's a beautiful spot to do it.
That's amazing. You guys have to be so excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
thrilled.
Yay.
Thrilled.
Is this the first one of your kids to be getting married?
It is, and he's the baby. He's the youngest.
Oh, that's awesome. Woo!
How'd you do it, Jacob?
Just drove to the beach, went straight from Raleigh to the beach, and yeah, just really, as soon as we got out there, I just made the decision to do it right then. And I was going to do it at sunset, but I couldn't hold it much
You couldn't
longer.
hold it.
I know that feeling. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That is awesome. Yes, so cool. Well, and congratulations, Mom and Dad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so let's hear the monk story.
Well,
You said you start.
okay. Well, I mean, we are a family of, well, we're growing. I'm not even going to say how many, but Stanley and I have been married for over 30 years. How many? Like 33 years. And we
Nice.
have 4 beautiful, amazing children. Jacob is our youngest, as I said. Our oldest son his name is Trey, and he lives in Richmond, Virginia, with his wonderful girlfriend.
Nice.
And then we also have our daughter Jordan, who is at GiGi's right now with Myles.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, she is my strong leader advocate. She's like a clone of me. And then we have sweet Myles. Myles is our 25-year-old that has Down syndrome and autism as well.
Okay.
Down syndrome. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So advocacy has just been in your blood since before Myles was born. Was this something, or did Myles really put you guys over really into the other side?
Yeah. Well, we when Stanley and I met, I have these like checklist questions. I was that type of girlfriend. I'm like, how many years have you volunteered Special Olympics? You know what type of person they are.
Yes.
And we've done Special Olympics ever since we were dating.
Love that.
And it's something that I've just always done. Even when I was not old enough to have kind of my own person, I would have somebody take me, sign me up, and then I would kind of do my own thing with my person. And then, and I know this is probably terrible to say, but I always used to pray that I would get somebody with Down syndrome, because I've just always loved people with Down syndrome.
Mhm. Oh my God, so me.
And no offense to any other disabilities, but when Myles was born, I was like, oh my gosh, that's wait a minute.
Did I will this on myself?
I wanted, yeah.
Yeah.
But my husband said, you know that you've always wanted a child with Down syndrome, so you got it.
Yep.
It's got to be, And so Myles is absolute blessing to our family. He absolutely is. But his story is a little different. As I said, he's our third child, and he was actually born in the front seat of our car.
Oh my God.
That's another podcast. But I really feel like that was God's way of saying, I don't think you're going to be able to handle that awkward silence in the delivery room.
Right.
When it's the baby away and say, ooh, got to check the heart. We got to check, all these different things. I think that was God's way of saying, okay, we're going to mix this up a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different for you.
Wow.
And so it was what it was. But,
yes.
Yeah.
And did you know when and Stanley, were you in the car with her?
Oh yes, I had to help
Sure,
her.
that was a fun experience.
Yeah, we it was an interesting day because being the third child, we kind of knew that she was in process of delivering a baby, and we got sent back a couple of times, once, and then we were told just to hang out at home. And finally in the evening, after 12 plus hours of going through her labor, I'm saying, we got to go. We got to go. And so, on the way down from coming downstairs, she was like, I think he's coming. And we got in the car. And in the garage, she was like, he's here. I'm like, wait, no, hold on. and stupid me said, push him back.
Put him back in.
Suck it
I
back up.
didn't leave that part. He was like, push him back. We'll push him back.
Yeah, it's crazy. He had a Gene overall farmers, set on, and I'm like, he's not gonna be able to breathe. So anyway, it was very interesting because 30 degrees out, and it was middle of downtown. We have a small town, and our neighbors saw me out there with no shirt on because I had to put the shirt on, and
She had no bottoms
she
on.
had no bottoms on.
Oh,
it was
no.
crazy.
Oh my gosh.
The baby's here.
That's the most important thing. exactly.
Literally,
Yep.
And then our two oldest kids realized that the stork did not bring a baby to the home. So
that was a tough one.
That was how they learned it. It really goes down. That's hilarious. How old were they when Myles was born
yeah,
then?
4 and 2.
4 and, oh
something.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
3 was 7 and 5, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, 7 and 5.
7 and 5. Trey was 7.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
he would have been 7, so 6. Yeah.
So
6.
6. Yeah.
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 You guys
That's
had
right.
your hands full.
Yeah.
And your floorboard.
My
That is
Yeah.
insane.
My daughter kept saying, "Mommy, I hear a baby crying." Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It's a little boy.
Wow.
He's here.
That is amazing. So when you then ran into the hospital with him, had you seen any of the features? Because as a speech pathologist or somebody who had been around, you know, I was the same way as you. My mom ran the spread group, which is religious ed for adults with disabilities in my church. And so I was always around them. And I too was the same way. Like I was always drawn to the kids with Down syndrome. Terry was my favorite. You know, you always wanted, you know, so you really know the characteristics. And I don't know if you had been in school already to become a speech pathologist, you know, there's just things that you see. Did you have any idea before they did tell you?
Had no idea. Of course, our, my spidey senses said, something's different.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've had 2 other children, and Myles would just kind of lay in the bottom of my belly, didn't really move a whole lot. And so in my mind, I felt like something was different.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I was doing the state games, and no, they were the World Games that were at NC State a few years ago. And I was I was actually teaching at East Carolina University, where many of the athletes were staying. And I was just watching everybody get off the buses and stuff, and we were cheering, we made signs, and something hit me right then. I was probably about 8 months pregnant at that time, and I was just like, wow. And I could not stop crying. I was just like, just tears. They were tears of joy.
Yeah.
That, something came over me, and I
Wow.
kind of knew right, like something is different about this baby that I'm carrying.
Yep.
So did we know just how special he would be? So
Right. Wow. That's amazing.
he's
Yeah, pretty similar story to you too.
Yeah. And how quickly, once you got him to the hospital, did they take him away? Obviously, because this baby was just born in the car, they probably rushed him away anyways, just to check him out and make sure everything was okay.
Yeah. So an ambulance came to get us because of the way that things happened. And we were both in the ambulance together. And I just kept hearing this little cry. And it wasn't like what I was used to. It
Right,
wasn't
the
that
wail.
roaring,
Yeah.
just kind of a very faint cry. And I was kind of out of it. And because the doctor had prescribed something for me to help me rest, and I couldn't even form words. So I just trying to find him, and I just kept hearing that cry. And then when they finally brought him to me, because I had a little surgery done and he was in the NICU, they brought him to me, and I held him, and I was like, this is probably the most beautiful baby I've ever seen in my
Aw.
life.
That's because
put
you
my
weren't born, Jacob. So don't be offended here.
He wasn't born yet. I was like, this is the most beautiful baby that I've seen in my life. I said, but he has Down syndrome. I said it just like that, very matter of factly.
Whoa.
And it was like, well, why do you always have to look for the negative? Why do you have to?
It just is what it is.
It's absolutely okay.
Yeah.
But he does. He has Down syndrome, and he was beautiful. He was absolutely beautiful. And so later that night, my husband had to go and get the kids in place and everything. And but later that night, the pediatrician came in, and I had never seen this woman before. And she came in and she said, hey, the nurses called me, and they were very concerned about your baby. And after just examining him, I'm very concerned too.
Oh.
So, yeah, she said, and the reason why I'm concerned is because I suspect something genetic going on. And he's got a very small, his chest is a little bit concaved, and we just want to make sure that he's okay. So we're going to, do some tests at Duke and just make sure everything's fine. And of course, that's the worst thing you want to hear.
Absolutely.
I could have handled, I think he has Down syndrome, but instead it was the heart complications and things like that. I thought, I will never sleep again as a mom.
Yeah. Wow.
But it ended up being great. The pediatrician that I was like so angry at for telling me that, I was like, what do you know? You look 12 years old. We're now very good friends. I love her.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And we ended up having a wonderful relationship, and she took very good care of Myles, um, when he was much younger. But
Yes.
yeah,
Wow.
everything was just so divine. It happened the way that it was
Supposed to happen.
with his birth and
Absolutely.
delivery.
Mm-hmm.
It was so unexpected and so unorthodox and everything else. But it is this group, especially our Raleigh group, the Triangle. It's just an amazing group of moms. Never knew that I
100%.
wanted to be a part of them until I became a part of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have no idea what you're missing until you're in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a place you're scared to be. You don't know that you want to be there. And then you get in there and you
Right.
meet the most amazing people. Yeah. Amazing.
Right.
Fast forward a year, right? A year or two. And then Jacob, you were born, right? Because you guys are a year apart,
Yeah,
roughly.
year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys being so close in age, what was that like growing up? I mean, if your other two siblings were, what would that be then? Almost 7 and 9 years older than you. I would imagine that you and Myles then were really close.
Yeah. I mean, Myles is pretty much like my twin, you know?
I love that. Well, yeah. And the nice thing about that is that you're kind of learning things together because it was taking him longer to learn to crawl, potty training, all that stuff. And you guys probably all did that together then.
Yeah. I mean, we had our own way of communicating, you know, it wasn't verbal, but I knew when he did something with his hands, you know, I knew exactly what it was. And I would translate that to my parents, you know, oh, he wants chicken right now. Oh, he wants this. He wants, I mean, we're still inseparable, you know, going through school together. My parents ended up holding Myles back so that we could walk the stage together. But I mean,
Aw.
you know, they would drop us off at school every day, and just being around him was just great for me, you know, knowing that I could walk throughout the halls and then I could stop in his classroom for 5 minutes. My teachers would let me. I had great teachers. I could go a couple minutes late to class in high school if I wanted to, just to go see my brother for a
Oh,
little bit.
that is
It
so
was really good.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
saw that when he won the in your video, Stanley, that he won Homecoming King, and watching you run up to him was such a special hug. I mean, you could see the love and bond that you guys had just in those videos. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's my buddy. That's my best friend.
So now when you got drafted to the NFL, were you living, you were going to school? You were at Duke also, right? Like your dad?
Yeah, I went to Duke as well.
And then, so
Mhm.
were you were pretty close to home then?
Yeah, I had graduated the year before and then was doing just continuing studies that fall semester. And then as soon as January hit, I went to Cleveland, Ohio to train for the draft. And about a week before the draft, I'd come home to Raleigh, North Carolina. And so I was around then.
You were right. And then
Yeah.
how was the move? Like when you got drafted, was he there for the whole thing? Like, how did that all work? Like, I always, you know what I mean? Like, you watch like the draft things and you see the families at home going great. Like, what was it like when you got drafted? Maybe I should ask your parents, but especially your dad, that question, what that felt like as a parent. And then, how did Myles react? What was that like?
It was a day full of emotions up and down because um my uncle, who was kind of like a grandfather figure to both Myles and Jacob, he had passed away the week before, so we were 2 hours away at the funeral while the draft was going
Oh my
on. And
goodness.
so we were driving back, waiting, and it was kind of emotional because again, you had the situation where you just come from a funeral and then you're still waiting for your name to be called, which hadn't been called. um, and so all of that in one moment, as soon as we stepped into our house, which was 2 hours away from the funeral, I was upstairs taking my suit coat off. My wife was, probably undressing as well. And I heard a yell downstairs. And I was like, he just got the call.
Oh,
I got the call. And so I ran, to the stairs and looked down and I saw him on the phone. And he kind of let us know that, yeah, Green
it's
Bay. And
happening.
of course,
Wow.
Yeah, it was just a release. Because the tension in the car as a parent, you try to always encourage your kids and lift them up. And we know it was kind of, frustrating, not, disappointing, when your name hadn't been called yet,
Yeah.
and you hoped
Mhm.
to call, and so it was kind of quiet in the car. You couldn't really say anything. 'Cause whatever you say is gonna be the wrong thing. You
Right,
can't provide, oh,
exactly.
like, it's gonna be okay, son. No, that's not good. Just shut up and
You
don't
just you
try,
just don't
right?
say anything.
Yeah,
That never
And
gonna
so
get
when
called.
we got the call, it was so great. It
Wow.
was wonderful. The beautiful thing about, we all were here. His fiance, who had traveled with us to go to the funeral, of course, it was girlfriend at the time. She was here too, and it was just great, to
Wow.
see him, finally reach his dreams after all the hard work that he's put in for, a couple of decades almost. So
Wow.
it was great.
So
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, Jacob, what about for you, man? I mean, what was that moment like? Just having your whole family there and just being able to know that dream's finally come a reality.
Yeah, like my dad had said, it was just a roller coaster of emotions. Like I was just texting my friends, like, I don't know what's gonna happen, like I'll let y'all know where I sign if I don't get drafted, all this stuff.
Oh.
Hmm.
And then literally as soon as we walk in the house, um, I put my phone on the ground. I was getting ready to use the bathroom. I look down at my phone and I just see that it's ringing. And
Of course, right now.
Right then, too.
Yes. You should have gone earlier because that's just
It's the thing. You can't hold it for 2 days.
yeah, so it was just crazy. It was so crazy.
wow.
But yeah, it's just like it's all a blur. But you remember like how you felt during the moment
Absolutely.
and
Ugh.
Yeah,
you know,
that's awesome. So then you get drafted by Green Bay, and then so now do you live up there during the season, or do you try to get back down to like the Raleigh area in the off season?
I'm really everywhere in the off season.
Yeah,
Like
you got camps, you got all sorts of
I'll,
different
I'll
stuff.
be I'll be in Raleigh for 2 weeks. I'll go to Arizona for majority of the time. I might go to Cleveland, Ohio, but I'm really everywhere, just training.
Hmm.
Do try to, I do find time for my family, because if not, I'm calling, they're calling me. If I haven't called in 2 days, I'm getting FaceTimes, Miles would like to say hi, so it's really
That's all it takes.
Uh-huh.
quick 20-minute phone call every day, but
Yeah,
that's really what it is just I'm everywhere, but Raleigh is my home for sure.
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
So then with Miles, then too, I mean, last year, because last year was your first year in the league, and being able to have him, like, did he get to go to any of the games, or like any of like the preseason stuff, like, and what is that experience like for Miles? I mean, especially too, I mean, you said he has autism as well. How does he respond at the games? Like, what does that experience look like?
I feel like he loves Wisconsin, They
Yeah.
have pretty good food up there. That's what I will say. Like,
Yeah, you're not gonna go hungry up in Wisconsin, that's for sure.
Yes.
one thing about me and Miles, we do love our food. So he goes up there, we'll go get pizza, chicken, whatever he wants. And then when it comes to the games, at least, he's done well, especially in the cold, because it gets freezing up there. But
Yeah.
Totally.
when it gets a little hot, it gets hot, I will say. And we got to make sure he's well hydrated, but he does really well in the cold.
Wow,
So
that's amazing. Especially you guys coming from North Carolina. It's surprising.
Yeah,
yeah,
going up to
yeah,
Lambeau in December. Yeah, no one really wants to.
yeah.
It's a little chilly.
Very cool. That's awesome.
What would you tell other young athletes, and this is for both Stanley and Jacob, about chasing your dreams? Because I mean, you were so blessed to have a dad that gave you such amazing encouragement, who had kind of lived that life, who knew what it took to be a football player, to really be that professional football player. So, what kind of advice would you give to other kids living their dream?
First thing, you got to have grades. That's the most important thing. If you don't have the grades, no one's going to call your phone,
Wow,
period.
that's
Um,
an excellent answer. Wow.
Yeah.
Love that.
So after that, you just got to outwork everybody. You know, I'm 9, 10 years old on summer break. I just want to go outside, play with my friends, and play video games and all this stuff and eat potato chips. My dad's going to work, so you need to do 500 push-ups, 500 sit-ups. So I'm just like watching TV. As soon as it hits commercial, I'll do push-ups and sit-ups.
Love
And then
that.
he's back. How many? You did 500, right? I'm like, no, I did 250 today, you know, but I'm 9, 10 years old. That's
Yeah.
Starting them young over there, Stanley. Starting them young. I like it.
And what would mom do?
Yeah.
my mom.
Mhm.
So it would be a book. You'd have to do each lesson every day, or not each lesson, but you'd have a lesson for every day. You know, reading and writing, math, doing something. And also a huge, huge, huge chore list. You know, I had to make sure her plants were watered,
Yep.
make sure that it was a big thing. House, do all this stuff. But yeah,
Wow.
you
What
know,
a blessing to be brought up by such involved parents that shaped you into
yeah,
the incredible person you are today. That is such a blessing.
definitely. It's a
Wow.
blessing.
Well, it's huge too, and I mean, just thinking about the position you're playing too, because are you still focused on center as a position?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, you're a
yeah,
leader on that field, so you have to be one of the smartest players on the field. You have to be able to help in commanding the rest of the line, the rest of the team out there. So I mean, all those traits that your family instilled in you at a young age. I mean, think about how that's probably transpired now into the player that you are on and off the field. It's awesome.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Multitask, you know, maybe starting the chores a little too late. I have to do more.
And Stanley, what about you? What advice would you give to young athletes that are out there chasing their dreams? Because not a lot of them are going to have that support and what you were able to give Jacob, and that, and that having a mom who was so interested in the education side, you and so into the football and the physical side. What advice would you give to some kid who might not have anybody out there helping him out?
I think the academics is first and foremost for any person, any student, athlete starting out. That was instilled in me. You're not going to get any prospective colleges looking at you if your grades aren't there. That's just not an option. Um, and for so many kids from various demographics, there, whatever reasons, they don't excel in academics, and they aren't exposed to maybe attending college games and things like that. And so therefore, I feel that if they can align themselves, find a champion, find someone that they can model themselves after, and kind of put their goals with someone positive. There's so many people out there
True.
that are influencers that, for me, I always said, yeah, I am a role model to someone, right? And
Yeah.
and for professional athletes or stars to say I'm not a role model, I think that's the most ignorant statement you can make, because people do look up to people who are, famous.
Excelling. Absolutely.
As a child, my grandfather and my father, they used to instill in us to do every job to the best of your ability. Again, whether you're a janitor, whether you're picking up trash or whatever. And so that would be my advice to young people aspire for academics, is to be better than your competition. Do it the best you can. What I always said to Jacob and even other kids that I coached is, your biggest opponent is you. You
Oh,
think
Mhm.
you can be, because you are your biggest opponent. You are your biggest competition.
wow. I love that. Love that. That's
Yes.
amazing. Now I see why you're where you're at, Jacob.
Can you
Yeah.
guys hear
Yeah.
me?
You were lucky. You were lucky on getting those parents. That's for sure. Wow. Really good. That was really good, Stanley. Really good. Thank you for sharing that.
I have a question for Jacob.
Oh, okay.
How do you like how would you describe your relationship with Myles in one word and why?
Oh,
So how would you describe your relationship with Myles in one word?
and why?
Special, you know.
Mm,
I just feel like the bond that me and Miles have, and really any of my siblings have with Miles, and really each other, is just unmatched, you know. We're all best friends. Um, I feel like he's taught me to see the world differently than a lot of people who didn't necessarily grow up with people with special needs.
Mhm.
And I feel like that helps me and the rest of us in our family see the world differently. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's taught me compassion, um, and just helped me be a better human being every day. Um, yeah, I feel like he's, and anyone with Down syndrome or special needs is just the best part of this world, in my opinion.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
good answer.
So
Absolutely.
pure, in my opinion.
Yes, helps give you perspective in ways that most other people really can't really seem to find it. I totally agree with you. As a sibling,
They
I'm
won't
right
get
there
it.
with you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, what else, Geej? Go ahead.
Did you get nervous before games? What helps you feel brave?
Oh,
I don't get nervous before games,
Oh.
but it's because of just, I'd say, preparation. I feel like I'm always prepared
love
for what
that.
I'm going through. That's why I feel like I'm not nervous. I'm confident in the work that I put in. And yeah, it's something that I can control. There are uncontrollables that go into football, and that just comes with the game. But I feel like everything that I can control, I'm prepared for, I've worked for.
Wow,
And
that's
Absolutely.
when it
awesome.
comes to you know, proposing, I feel that's the most nervous I've ever been. I played in front of other people, but that was nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
That's
that's for
another
sure.
story.
It's like when you get drafted, everything just is just blurry and it's just crazy, and you just can't really conceptualize anything that's going on. It just happens like that.
Yeah.
That's so
Mhm.
funny. All right,
Gigi,
one
well,
message.
I was gonna say the other question that we had.
What?
Oh, whispering over here. She likes Jacob too much. She can't do it. Oh boy.
But you, if I say,
Just ask whatever you want. Just about
Good.
what we talked about earlier.
what kind of team did you like? The Packers or the Bears?
The Packers or the Bears?
Gigi's
She just fighting words
Gigi's
right
a
there.
very big
He-
hater on the Packers.
He
That's
asked
for sure.
me.
Yes.
So.
I don't like the Bears too much. Let's just say.
I was gonna say I
We
think
have
he's a
a
little
friend on the
biased.
Packers
Cheech.
now.
I know.
What's it? What's
So,
Van
well, now
Ness?
I think you could warm up to it a
Lucas.
little. Lucas Van Ness.
Oh yeah, do you know Lucas Van Ness? He's on the
Yeah,
Packers. Yeah.
Superman.
Yep. He went to school with us, with our
Yeah.
kids.
School with Cheech.
With Geej.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so crazy. All right, Geej, one message.
And we have a friend on the Bears.
Oh, really?
Yes, Josh Blackwell.
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to for Stanley too. If you give Jacob a touchdown, celebrate. What would look like?
If he gave Jacob a touchdown celebration,
Yeah.
what would it look like? Oh, what does it look like when your boy? What does that look like?
The rare time a center might score a
Oh
touchdown.
my goodness. So what I see it looking like is we are both part of the same fraternity.
Ah.
And so it would be one of the what we call steps that he learned as he was going through the process of becoming a member of the fraternity that we were in. So I think he does a really good job, and I feel that's what he would do to celebrate.
Love it.
That would be the
Love
go-to, Jacob. You got your opportunity to score a touchdown in the NFL. We're going to that.
Definitely. And I got to do
I love it. Well, hey, hopefully this year's the year. Someone juggles a snap at the 1 yard line. Jordan Love can't get it clean, so then you have to pick it up for him.
I love FAL too. Right? I love NFL too.
You love the NFL, yes, you do.
The other one, remember with Tom Tito?
Oh yes,
with the
we have.
retired
We do a
football
lot
players.
of things with the retired NFL players out here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
they were
Yeah.
out. Yeah, we just had a big. Our GiGi Fit Acceptance Challenge was this weekend, and we had all the players out, and they're so awesome. And yeah, she loves her players, don't you?
I do.
She does.
maybe we'll get together for a game this year.
Yes, that would be
I was gonna
fun.
say Bears
Woo-hoo!
Packers. They play twice a year.
Yeah.
That'd be really
Yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you had one message to the world, what would it be?
I know this is going to sound so basic, but I would just say be kind.
Love that.
Be-
Yep, it's the best message you can give.
Yeah, it
How about
is.
Jacob?
How about Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, just love each other. You know,
Aw,
Aw.
love
just
that.
be the golden rule.
Yep.
Treat someone how you want to be treated.
Yep.
It's the least we could do, right?
Absolutely.
How about Tony? How about you?
It's the same thing. Love each other like you love yourself. That's the basic thing that we can do for one another.
Mm-hmm.
I love
If we
that.
could do something as easy as that, I think this world would be a lot better of a place, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yes, it would. Well, also, our podcast is called A Little Something Extra. What do you guys think is your something extra? What drives you to be the person that you are? And, what is your superpower?
I think our superpower that we never knew that we needed would be Miles.
Oh,
He's the dynamic. I know Jacob was speaking to the sibling experience a little bit earlier, but I will say that my children are better people. My neighbors are better people from having grown up with somebody who took a little bit longer to learn to tie their shoes, who, wanted to shred toilet paper, who needed something to help him get onto the bus, something sensory to kind of help him regulate. I think that our children are better people. And
Wow.
so I think he's our family's extra, I feel.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of valuable lessons there.
Yep.
Jacob, anything on you?
Yeah, I mean, family's everything for me. I wouldn't be where I am without them. They just help me drive to be the person that I am, the person that I'm becoming. I'll always remember, my mom and dad telling me, once you make it big, I'm 5 years old at this time. Once you make the NFL, don't forget, about your community. Always give back.
That's awesome. Stanley, where did that come from in you? Like it seems like since he was little, since your kids were little, that was always something so important to you, making sure that physically, that education was number one, that, just reaching for your goals. Was that something your dad did, your uncle, or where did that come from? That drive that you have is really amazing.
Yeah, my dad, I'm blessed to have both my parents still around. I
Wow.
talk to my dad.
Love that.
He's my brother.
Love
And he, was very influential in me being positive. I was told that ain't is not a word growing up. It was just, you can always accomplish and achieve what you want. And then growing up and seeing some of the negative things that happen to people who didn't have drive or have goals, which were close family members, I knew I didn't want that. So it basically came from the men in my family.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I've got a super wife who's so positive and so driven. It just, we both complement each other, and it just helped out the situation that I had, someone who thought like me together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
Beautiful
are
thing.
truly an inspiration. I'm telling you, they were like, no, you got to meet the Monk family. And I'm so glad that we had this opportunity. And I think that people can take so much from this. I love your emphasis on education. I love your emphasis on setting goals, all of it. I think that people can learn a lot from your story. So thank you so much for sharing it with us. And now Geech just has a couple tips. If you guys don't mind sticking around for her tips.
Absolutely.
We love it.
All right, Geech, you want to do your tips?
To say tips.
I did say tips.
Tips.
Woo, 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 woo. Now let's do them, girl. What are
Typically,
your
you're
tips?
so
on?
excited to sing it, and today you're just like, oh, I'm just going to very
Yeah.
nonchalantly tell you my tips.
My tips.
Tips on strong families.
Strong
Tips on
families.
strong
I wonder where she
families.
got that idea from, you guys.
Always protect each other and have fun.
Protect each other and have fun.
Have family dinners and pray.
Yes, have family dinners
Together.
and pray. Good.
Try not fight too much. When you do fight, make sure you forgive each other and laugh.
Yes, very important.
Lean on each other for support, be there for each other.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, the youngest always mom's favorite.
The youngest
Seriously?
is always mom's favorite. That was for you, Jacob.
Playing the baby card.
And for
Yeah.
GiGi.
Yes.
We get a lot of, we got 4 kids. Yeah, so we get a lot of mom's favorites at my house too, believe me.
Yeah, and Gigi gets all of them.
Well, I love the whole Duke connection that your family has. I honestly, I so enjoyed your video. I just watched it this morning. I thought it was so good, Stanley. And now that I got to meet you, it just makes even more sense. So I love just what you've brought to your family, the strong dad that you are, and the gifts that you give to your children, and who Myles is because of it, who Jacob is, and your other kids, and just so blessed to meet you all. And I hope we'll either meet you at our Raleigh Playhouse sometime, or at a Green Bay game, or in Chicago. Or in Chicago. That would be amazing. I'd love for you to see the National Playhouse too. It would be amazing to have you guys around.
For the conference.
Oh, yeah. Maybe for the conference. You never know. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's multiple places we'd be able to see you guys, and we just look forward to it. Jacob, congratulations, brother. You have a fiance.
Yes.
You got through the hard part.
Yeah. Woo. Now's the fun part,
Yeah.
Mom. Now all the planning starts. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Yep.
And Jacob, quick sneak peek. How's the outlook looking for the season? I haven't. I only pay attention to Bears football, so curious to know how things are going up in Green Bay.
Man, it's going great. You know, we're getting better each day. Just finished up mini camp last week, so
Yeah.
we got a little break right now, but everyone's just really excited for camp at this point and excited for the season. See how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys start in July, mid-July.
Yep. Yeah, mid-July.
Awesome. Well, yeah, good luck to you. I
You
can't
know.
give you guys too much luck because the Bears this year, I'm really hoping we get some sort of turnaround.
I
So
don't
if
know about
anything,
that,
let's
though.
just have a high-scoring game in Green Bay so you can exceed, and then also the Bears can't do.
Yes.
Don't give them credit.
All right. Thanks again, you guys. We love you guys. We love your family. Can't wait to meet in person next time.
And tell Miles, and tell Miles,
Oh, wait. What? Hang on, Gigi. Go ahead. What?
and tell Miles I say hi.
Oh,
Yes.
tell Myles Gigi says hi. We can't,
Yes.
we can't
Yes.
forget that. Everybody is born with a little something extra, and sometimes they just have to find it. A little something extra is that superpower that every single one of us has inside that motivates us and drives our passion and makes us do the things that we do.
We're all on the same team. Let's think about how we can make that team as inclusive as we can.
For those of you listening to our podcast right now, you can also check out our video podcast at alittlesomethingextrapodcast.org.